Hey friends, money isn't just a piece of paper or some digital numbers. It actually shapes our mindset, our decisions, and the direction of our lives. Some people make money fast but can't hold on to it, while others become rich despite having an average income. So why does this happen? Without understanding the psychology of earning, saving, and growing money, we can never really manage it the right way. Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money, isn't just about investing or finance. It teaches us how our habits, behavior, and attitude towards money should be. Books tell us that money isn't just about numbers. It's all about emotions and mindset. In this video, we'll learn the 8 golden rules of money psychology from this book. These 8 rules can totally change how you think and make financial decisions. So, watch this video till the end and get a deep understanding of money psychology so you can take control of your financial future. Rule 1. No one's crazy. As soon as we step into the world of money, we assume that all the decisions we make are completely logical, rational, and well thought out. It's not really true. Each of us is influenced by our experiences, upbringing, the environment around us, and the stories we've heard since childhood. When it comes to money, no one is completely rational. People make decisions based on their own experiences. Imagine someone who grew up in the 1950s. They wouldn't have seen the Great Depression firsthand. But their grandfather, who lived through unemployment, hunger, and financial hardship back then, would view money very differently and probably see saving as the most important thing. It's possible that his grandson, who grew up in a stable economy, might be more interested in investing and taking risks. Both have different attitudes towards money, but that doesn't mean one is right and the other is wrong. Everyone makes money decisions based on their own life experiences. For example, someone who lost their job during the 2008 financial crisis might be scared to invest in the stock market, while another person who bought shares at really low prices during the same time might feel differently, and later made a huge profit. He might see the stock market as a great opportunity. This shows how our past shapes our financial decisions. The problem is, none of us can personally experience the entire economic history of the world. We only know what we've seen in our lives or what our parents and people around us have taught us. If someone is born into a rich family, they probably don't worry much about money, while a person born into poverty focuses a lot on saving and spending carefully. People think about things in completely different ways, and that's why people use money differently. The important thing to understand is that no one is wrong in their own way. A poor farmer who suddenly earns some money might spend it right away because he has lived a life of scarcity and learned that money should be used as soon as it comes. On the other hand, someone from a wealthy family might think about investing money for the long term. Their perspectives are different, but that doesn't mean either of them is crazy. We tend to judge people based on their money decisions. When someone wins a lottery and goes broke soon after, we think, how stupid. But we don't see what kind of financial background they came from. Suddenly getting that much money is like throwing someone into the middle of the ocean without teaching them to swim. They just don't know how to handle it. Similarly, some people, even after making a lot of money, always live in fear of losing it. That's often because they grew up in tough situations where lack of money has a deep impact on their lives, so they never feel comfortable spending freely. On the other hand, some people take money lightly and make overly risky decisions. The truth is, no one is crazy when it comes to financial matters. Everyone thinks and acts based on their own experiences. Until we understand that people are influenced by their past, we'll keep thinking they make decisions without thinking. But if we try to see things from others' perspectives, we'll realize everyone thinks they're right in their own way. When it comes to money, no one is completely logical. We're all influenced by our personal stories, experiences, and emotions. Understanding that everyone's perspective is shaped by their own life experiences can stop us from judging others and give us a fresh way to look at money. The rules of luck and risk. We often believe success comes from hard work and smart decisions. But is that really the case? Is it just hard work and being smart that leads to success? Getting rich can depend a lot on luck and taking risks. Think about it. If Bill Gates had been born in a small town in America where schools didn't even have computers, would he be who he is today? Would he have founded Microsoft? It's hard to say. Sure, His hard work and smarts played a big part in his success, but he was also lucky that his school was one of the few in America that got computers early on. He took advantage of that opportunity. But if that chance hadn't come along, if it hadn't happened, the story might have been different. Here's another example. A person who wins a lottery can become a millionaire, but he wastes all the money recklessly and ends up poor again after a few years. Is that stupidity or just a game of chance where he was lucky at first, but then luck ran out? Luck and risk are two sides of the same coin. Just like we take credit for our success, we blame others or circumstances for our failures. But the truth is, in life, whatever happens, some things aren't completely in our control. We can control our decisions, but not always the outcomes. We tend to think that if someone is successful, they must have done everything right. But in reality, many hard-working and smart people don't succeed simply because they didn't get the right opportunities. On the other hand, some people who aren't as qualified still manage to succeed just by being in the right place at the right time. This doesn't mean hard work and intelligence don't matter, but it's important to understand that success and failure often depend a lot on luck and risk. Now, think about it. If someone is making a lot of money in the stock market, is it just because they're smart, or could it be that they invested at a time when the market was booming? Meanwhile, another person who's just as smart might invest during a downturn and end up losing money. It's hard for us to accept that some things are beyond our control. We tend to idolize success stories and think that if we do the same thing, we'll get the same results. But we often forget that every story involves both luck and risk. The biggest problem with this is that we end up choosing the wrong role models. If someone succeeded just because of luck and we try to copy them, we won't find success. On the other hand, if someone worked really hard but failed because of risk and we stop learning from them, we miss out on an important lesson. So what should we do? First, we need to understand that no success or failure is just about the person alone. We shouldn't judge people just by their qualities. We need to carefully look at other stories and figure out whether they were just lucky or if their strategy actually worked. Also, we shouldn't be arrogant and think our success is only because of our hard work. Luck might have played a big part too. And most importantly, we shouldn't judge others' failures as simply their foolishness. Maybe they did everything right, but were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Luck and risk are parts of life that we can't fully control. We don't have control over it, but if we understand it, we can make our expectations more realistic, make better decisions, and be more empathetic toward others. Rule 3, it's never enough. In the world of money, there's this invisible trap, and the desire to have more never ends. No one ever says, I have enough, I'm satisfied. Whether you're a billionaire or an average working person, everyone's caught up in the race for more. But does this race ever really end? That's the most interesting story for politicians and investors. John Bogle once shared a story about a meeting between two famous writers, Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller, at a billionaire's house. Vonnegut jokingly said to Heller, "Did you know this billionaire makes in one day what your bestseller Catch, 22, earned in his entire lifetime?" Heller smiled and replied, "Yeah, but I have something he'll never have, a feeling of enough." That's a feeling very few people ever get. The hunger to make money grows so much that they never feel like it's ever enough. This isn't just limited to the poor or middle class. Even billionaires show this greed. Think about it. Why do some rich people, who already have enough for their next 7 generations to live comfortably, still try to make more money by shady means? They commit fraud, break rules, take bribes, and often end up in jail. Do they really need the money? No. Actually, they never feel satisfied. Take Bernie Madoff, for example. He was a successful investor who already had millions. He had dollars. But he still got involved in scams and fraud just because he wanted more. When his fraud was caught, not only did he lose all his assets, but he also ended up in jail. His family's honor was completely ruined. What does this story teach us? That when we don't appreciate what's enough, we end up losing our happiness, respect, and self-satisfaction. Even after promotion or a salary hike, we don't find peace because there are always people around us earning more. Our problem isn't that we have little money. It's that we're always comparing ourselves to others. We're fine with what we have until we see someone doing better than us. We forget that this race has no finish line. If we don't learn to be content, no matter how much we earn, it'll never make us happy. Feeling satisfied is really important because greed has no limits, and if we don't keep it in check, it consumes us. That doesn't mean we shouldn't work hard, or it doesn't mean we should stop striving to get ahead financially, but rather that we need to understand money is just a tool, not the ultimate goal in life. We have to figure out what's enough so we can live a balanced and happy life. People who get this tend to be more satisfied. They link their happiness not to piles of money, but to their relationships, experiences, and peace of mind. They know the most valuable things in life, like love, friendship, health, and calm, can't be bought. If we realize this truth sooner, if we understand what enough really means, we can avoid unnecessary stress and make our lives more meaningful. What's the biggest secret to growing money magically with compound interest? Some call it smart investing. Others see it as a good strategy, and some think you need to earn a lot to do it. But the truth is way simpler and more powerful than that. Compound interest. It's the greatest financial magic in the world, and once you get it, it can make anyone rich. If you were asked who the greatest investor in the world is, you might say Warren Buffett, and that's true. But did you know most of his wealth grew when he was in his 70s? He's not some superhuman. He just understood and embraced one simple thing, the magic of compounding. He didn't just invest smartly. He stayed invested for the long haul. That's his real secret. Imagine you have $10,000 and you invest it at 10% interest every year. At the end of the first year, you'd have $11,000. The next year, the interest isn't calculated on $10,000 anymore, but on $11,000. This makes your wealth grow faster over time. This process becomes so powerful that in the later years, money basically grows on its own. Take Warren Buffett's journey as an example. He started investing at just 11 years old and kept at it consistently. If he had started investing at 30, he wouldn't be a billionaire today. This means the earlier you start investing, the better it is. But here's the problem. Most people don't have patience. They want to make quick money and end up looking for shortcuts. People take risky deals, and then when they fail, they think investing isn't for them. They need to understand that compounding isn't some magic trick that gives instant results. It works like a bamboo tree. Slow growth at first, but once it picks up speed, it's unstoppable. Now think about how many people keep putting off saving money, thinking they have little now or will save more later. That's the biggest mistake. If someone starts investing just 0.00 every month at age 20, and if you keep it for 40 years with a 12% annual return, it can turn into crores by retirement. But if someone starts at 30 years old, they'll have to invest double the amount to get the same result. The biggest lesson here is that in investing, time is the most important thing, not just money. Investing more is good, but keeping the investment for a longer time is even more crucial. That's why patient investors always come out ahead. The magic of compounding isn't just about money. It applies to every part of life. Knowledge compounds too. If you get just 1% better every day, by the end of the year, you could be 37 times better. This rule applies to our habits, fitness, and relationships too. People who keep making small improvements consistently end up way ahead of others after a few years. So, if you want to understand the real secret to wealth, it's not some hidden strategy. It's just realizing that with time and patience, miracles happen. Those who start investing early and stay patient slowly, but surely move toward financial freedom. That's the key. The magic of compounding is slow, but the most powerful rule. Rule 5. Becoming rich versus staying rich. Making money is one thing, but holding on to it is a whole different game. Lots of people become rich, but only a few manage to keep their wealth for the long haul. There are countless examples around the world where people suddenly got very rich, but lost it all within a few years because the rules for making money and managing it are totally different. Think about it. You've worked hard and earned a lot of money. Now the next question is, will that money always stay with you? Can you keep it? In the future, we'll be able to grow even more. History shows that people who only focus on getting rich but never learn how to stay rich eventually failed. The biggest example is Bernie Madoff. He was once one of the most successful investors in the world, but his greed and bad decisions landed him in jail. Now look at Warren Buffett. Not only did he become rich, but he also managed to keep his wealth because he understood risk management and developed a long-term mindset. Confidence is important to make money, but it takes humility and caution to maintain wealth. When people get rich, they start believing they're always right. They take bigger risks, thinking every decision they make is perfect. But this overconfidence is what often leads to their downfall. There are plenty of examples around us where people suddenly became rich, but lost everything due to some mistakes. The stories of lottery winners prove this. According to a report, 70% of lottery winners become poor again within a few years because they don't have the right mindset to manage their money. There are two key traits you need to stay wealthy: fear and patience. Fear doesn't mean you should be scared to invest or make money, but rather that you understand things can go wrong at any time. People who get this fear always have a backup plan. They reduce risk by diversifying their investments and don't take big risks unnecessarily. The second important trait is patience. You need patience to make money, but even more patience to keep it. Many people try to get rich quick, but they take huge risks, and when things go wrong, they lose it all. On the other hand, people who grow slowly but steadily stick around for the long haul. The best example of this is Japanese companies. They play it very safe, avoid big risks, and that's why they stay stable in the market for decades. It's also important to understand that making money can be a one-time thing, but saving and growing it is a lifelong game. The best way to stay rich is to keep reminding yourself of that. Things won't always go according to your plan. You need to be ready for bad decisions and set up your investments so that if a recession hits, you're still safe. The most important thing is, whenever you make money, have a strategy to protect it from loss. Always have a safety net, whether it's an emergency fund, diversified investments, or a way to limit risks. If you want to stay wealthy, you've got to know your limits and accept that you can't be right all the time. So, keep your strategy balanced. Those who understand this, they not only become rich, but also stay rich for a long time. Rule 6 tells you, we often think of money and investing as logical, rational, and mathematical. We believe that if a strategy works, it will always work, and if it fails, it's useless. But the reality is very different. The world of money is like a lottery, where a few big decisions, some extraordinary deals, or rare opportunities can change the whole game. To understand this, we need to grasp the secret of Rule 6 tells you when. Imagine you have a coin. The coin is being flipped with a 50-50 chance of heads or tails. But here's the twist. If it lands on heads, nothing changes. But if it lands on tails, you win 100 times your bet. So, how many times would you want to flip this coin? The answer is clear. You want to flip it as many times as possible. Even if you lose most times, just one win would cover all your losses and give you a huge profit. This same principle applies to investing and money. Most successful investors aren't right every time. They often make mistakes, but there are few extraordinary wins. Success wipes out all their losses and makes them big winners. Just think about companies like Apple. How many times they must have faced failure before reaching where they are today? Steve Jobs launched a bunch of products that flopped, but when the iPhone came out, it changed the entire tech industry. That's the magic of you win. If we look at the stock market, we'll see that most companies are average or fail, but only a few actually change the direction of the whole market. If you invest in companies at the right time, you can make huge profits despite all the other wrong decisions. The biggest lesson here is that you can't measure every decision by wins and losses. Sometimes, you have to learn from failures and see them as part of the process. If you're working on a strategy where there are small setbacks, but you believe a big success can completely change your direction, you need to be patient. That's why the most successful people aren't afraid to take risks. They know that often decisions might be wrong, but one right decision can bring such a huge change that all the other decisions become irrelevant. The best example of this is Jeff Bezos. He invested in many projects that completely failed, like the Fire Phone, Amazon Dash, and several other flops. But when he started Amazon Web Services, it was so successful that the success of this one project made all the other failures meaningless. This doesn't mean you should take risks without thinking, but it does mean you shouldn't be afraid of failure, because real success comes after those failures. People who understand this mindset succeed. They have the courage to make bigger decisions in life. They don't get discouraged by small losses because they know that if they keep playing the game, one day their coin will land on tails. and that's when they'll score a big win. That's the real secret of tails you win. Rule number 1, freedom. If someone asks you what the biggest purpose of money is, what would you say? Some might say security, others comfort, and some might say status and luxury. But the real power of money is that it gives you the freedom to live your life your way. Most of us are struggling for something: a good job, a higher salary, a bigger house, or an expensive car. But if you really think about it, all these things lead to the same goal. We want control over our time and decisions. We want to live life on our own terms, without anyone bossing us around or forcing us. That's real freedom. Imagine having so much money that you don't have to work just because you need to. You don't just have to get things done. You work because you genuinely want to. That's the greatest joy. It gives you self-respect, satisfaction, and most importantly, the power to stay happy. There's a difference between being rich and being free. Many rich people aren't truly free. They drive fancy cars and run big businesses, but they don't have time for themselves. They're so caught up in meeting others' expectations, societal pressures, and their own ambitions that they can't live life on their own terms. Some people don't have a lot of money, but they're completely free. They decide when, where, and how they want to work. True wealth isn't just about what's in your bank account. It's about how freely you can live your life. Those who get this use their money in ways that save their time and energy. They invest in things that give them long-term freedom, not just short-term comforts. If you pay attention, the happiest people in the world are the ones who have control over their time. They can do whatever they want, whenever and wherever they want. They can spend time with their family, pursue their hobbies, and prioritize their peace of mind. But to gain this freedom, some sacrifices have to be made. Sometimes, we need to avoid unnecessary spending, hold back on small desires, and be patient. We have to understand that a little saving and smartness today can put us in a position in the future where we can live life on our own terms. Those who value freedom understand the importance of money. They don't just see money as something to spend, but as a tool that helps them take control of their lives. They don't earn money just to get rich. They earn it so they don't have to be controlled by anyone else. In the end, the biggest question is, do you just want to be rich, or do you really want to be free? If your goal is freedom, you need to develop a new way of thinking about money. You have to understand that true wealth is what gives you the power to make your own life decisions. That's real happiness. That's the real deal. Success is the real power of money. Rule 8. Save money. Whenever we talk about becoming rich, we always focus on earning more. We think if our salary or business income increases, all our financial problems will disappear. But actually, saving money is the most important financial habit that can make anyone rich. Many people believe you can only save money if your income is very high, but that's not true. History shows that many millionaires and billionaires went bankrupt just because they failed because they couldn't save money. On the other hand, many ordinary people became financially independent just by developing the habit of saving. The biggest example is Warren Buffett. He's one of the richest people in the world, but his lifestyle is very simple. He still lives in the same small house he bought back in 1968. His car isn't some luxury vehicle, just a regular one. He keeps his expenses in check because he knows that wealth doesn't come just from earning more, but from saving wisely. Just think, if your income grows by 20% every year, your expenses might increase by 25%. But can you become rich that way? No, because spending more than you earn will never make you rich. However, if you save about 30 to 40% of your income, over time you'll become financially stronger. The power of saving money is that it gives you freedom. When you have enough savings, you don't have to worry about small financial setbacks. If you lose your job or your business slows down, your savings can support you. And it's these savings that give you the chance to invest. It also helps you slowly grow your wealth. A lot of people think saving money means cutting out all their needs, but that's not true. Saving doesn't mean you have to be super stingy. It means learning to balance your wants and needs. If you spend without thinking, no income can make you rich. But if you save wisely and prioritize your future, you can become financially strong even with a low income. Real strength isn't about big houses or fancy cars, but about that peace of mind. It happens when you don't have to worry about money. When you have enough savings, you're not stuck in a job you hate. You can wait for the right opportunities. And most importantly, you can live life on your own terms. If you don't develop a habit of saving, you'll never be financially secure, no matter how much you earn. Saving isn't something only rich people can do. It's possible for anyone, as long as they set their priorities straight. In the end, becoming rich and staying rich, the real secret is to spend less, save more, and invest your money wisely. Those who get the simple rule gradually, but surely move toward financial freedom. To sum up, the psychology of money teaches us that money isn't just about numbers. It's deeply tied to our emotions, thoughts, and habits. The biggest takeaway from this book is that there's a huge difference between making money and staying rich. Earning money is one thing, but managing it right and applying it in your life is what really matters. Bringing freedom is the real game. On this journey, we've seen how luck and risk-taking affect our financial success, why greed can destroy us, and why compound interest is the most powerful tool. We've also learned that saving and smart investing are more important than just making money, so we can live life on our own terms. True wealth isn't about fancy houses or luxury cars. It's about the peace of mind where you don't have to worry about money if you have the right mindset and think long-term. By adopting this, we can not only become financially strong, but also live a happy and balanced life. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more informative videos like this. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. See you in the next video with interesting and useful lessons from a new book. Until then, keep learning and keep growing.